See you. Wake up and rise, open your eyes. It's breakfast with the Thomases, the ultimate prize. Mental Wellness Monday, work it out Wednesday, pay it forward Friday, we're seizing the day. Digital finance, harmony of love, serving food to what those store, rising as the beat and it Eastern on P2G TV. Breakfast with the Thomases, come eat with me.
Hey,
Grand Rising
family.
Oh, what's going on? Happy Monday to everybody.
Whew. Happy Monday. We made it, y'all. I got to say we made it because this was a hectic one. Yeah. Oh, my Lord. We had so much going on this weekend, and I am really glad we made it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. Couple days older, couple days wiser. And this is going to be a good mental wellness Monday. It's kind of I'm gonna be very honest with you guys. It's kind of a weekend review, and I want you to understand there was some manipulation that went on, and people went real crazy over this week.
Okay, so you're gonna have to break down what that means because there was a lot of stuff going on.
Okay, can I get to that?
No, meaning because there was a lot of other stuff that happened this weekend too. Yeah. We're talking about one thing. And we have, guys, y'all know we do this. This is what we do. Okay. I need to make sure he understands that there were people doing other things this weekend.
Yeah, I know there was
what were they doing now?
There was a lot of celebration going on. There was a Juneteenth event. There was Father's Day celebration.
Yeah,
I got all that. And yes, that all occurred. And yeah, for those who celebrated Juneteenth.
What did you do this weekend, Mr. Thomas?
I had an enjoyable Father's Day weekend, totally.
All right.
I think I started my weekend honestly on Thursday, but that's beside the point.
You certainly did.
I started since Thursday. I was kind of on kickback and chill mode, and the brain just had to defuse itself for a couple of days.
No, there was that for real though. There was that for real.
But no, I want to bring our guys up to speed and catch you up with a lot of things. More on the financial sector, and I know finances is the first thing you want to hear in the morning.
Well, then don't start with the finance then.
Okay.
What do you need to do? Okay. So Mr. Thomas, I know you don't, so don't do it. That's what I say. When you know that people don't like to start a certain way, then don't start that way. Let's start with getting in a mindset to be able to receive what you need to receive. Can we do that? I hope so. I hope that we can get you ready to receive what we got coming.
Okay, let's see how you're going to do that.
What do you mean how we going to do this? This is how we do it. First of all, I want to say Grand Rising to everybody. We see y'all out here. We see folks on different platforms.
Yes.
I want to give you guys some good information. I want to give y'all some good contact, okay? First things first, before we get started and throw you into the midst of what's happening on the background.
Gary Prince.
We need to acknowledge that we've got some really amazing folks out here who are really rooting for us doing this thing. We working together, right, y'all? This is our community. So first of all, I want to say Grand Rising to everyone. I want to say Grand Rising, and I'm really excited. We truly did make it. A lot of you guys have celebrated something this weekend. There's a lot of graduations going on.
Yes.
Let's talk about it. Let's get in the house because we got to talk about our why before we talk about our what. Y'all get that?
Okay,
I'm trying to get Mr. Thomas to get out of the fact he's been reading the papers this morning. So now he's gonna throw you into the papers. I gotta wake you up and remind you that I'm here for you guys. We here together, and notice we in the same window, y'all.
Yeah.
Yes, his technology crapped out and he forgot how to be a human being. I love it.
It's
okay. Right. It's the truth. Anyway, love y'all. Hello, everybody. Grand Rising from California. Grand Rising from New York. We had a lot of crazy happen, but so much else has come out. And that gives us an opportunity to be here, to be able to talk about it and find out what we missed while we were celebrating. You know what I'm saying? What did we miss while we were celebrating? P2G itself we shut down our platform pretty much this whole weekend. There were no meetings. Why? Because there was no people for them. You guys were enjoying yourselves. Okay? So this weekend, Just like the 4th of July weekend coming, platform shut down.
Platform shut down.
Now, work don't shut down. Money don't stop flowing. I tell you right now, that's not going to happen. So you better make sure you make it in before we start those special weekends. Got it? You got to get the work done so you can go hardy. And you guys are going to earn your party or earn your leisure. I like that. I like the earn your leisure guy. And I like the statement.
We got something special for you guys coming up this weekend.
Now, before we ain't there yet, baby. We ain't there yet. Come on, calm yourself down.
Like, I'm excited about it already.
So before we get to that, let's get to the nitty gritty. Let's talk about what's happening when we, the people, take a vacation or take a weekend, a long weekend. What happens? That's what we're going to talk about today. Okay. So now that you guys are all set, you got your cup of tea, cup of coffee. Y'all, we going about to spill some tea, some financial tea. Let's get it started. Now, Mr. Thomas, go and tell them what's going down.
Okay.
And please keep it plain.
I'm going to keep it plain, simple.
Keep it plain, baby. All right.
All you people everyone who goes to work knows they go to work, they get investments, and they get stuff to make sure that they prepare for their future.
Not everybody has investments.
Not everyone, but people work. One of the goals people want to have, I believe most people want to have, is investments so they can take care of the future. Now, what happened this week was an extremely high and extremely low, and then a weak manipulation. So let me break this down into plain, simple English so that everyone's on the same page.
And go on and speak up, please.
Okay, first of all, everyone got the great news that there was a treaty passed or a peace conference created for the next 60 days where the U.S. and Iran are going to play nice and talk about the nuclear arms race and how it's going to open up the Straits of Hormuz. Now, the important part is not the conference, but it's the Straits of Hormuz, which allows the petrodollar to maintain its dominance because it is allowing entities to still continue to use the dollar as they cross that portion and keep the petrodollar in play, which is important to the U.S.
Slow down.
Yeah, it's important to the U.S., but it's important to you because right now it helps to put a stay on the value of your dollar.
Okay. So is all of this in this video?
Yes.
Can we play it?
Okay, you asked me to give them the what so.
Let's just keep it short. That was supposed to keep it short so you play a video.
Okay.
I'm working on this style, y'all. I'm working on this style. All right.
Okay.
So we gonna have a discussion shortly after we get this information.
Okay, then let me give them the last piece.
Go ahead.
They're gonna play with the oil, they're gonna play with the markets, and they're gonna turn the numbers the way they want them to look. So I want you guys to really get it.
And what is the point of all of that and knowing all of that? And I'll tell you now. It's called positioning yourself. Why you need to know now and need to be aware and not after the news is so that you are positioned like the very wealthy who have been setting themselves up to take advantage of this very planned move. So with that, I'm going to bring our brother John up in here. Okay.
Take notes.
And everybody, this is going to be a masterclass. Let's go. Peace and grand rising. Let's get going.
You don't need to follow it day to day, but major developments will matter. Now I want to address something important. Some of you might be thinking, okay, John, this is all great educational content, but what should I actually do with my money? Happy Saturday, everyone. Markets are closed, which means it's the perfect time to learn. And this week just handed us one of the best teachable moments of 2026. I'm talking about a week that had everything. A historic peace deal, market explosions, Federal Reserve drama, and a complete reversal that left most traders scratching their heads. If you want to understand how geopolitics, monetary policy, oil markets, precious metals, and equities all interact in real time, this week is your case study. Monday gave us the setup. Friday gave us the punchline. And today, I'm going to walk you through the entire week so you can spot this pattern when it happens again. Because trust me, it will happen again. So grab your notebook, maybe a cup of coffee, and get comfortable. I'm OG John from FinShift with OG John AG Official, and class is in session. And hey, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because we do deep educational breakdowns like this every week. No hype, no clickbait, just real market education. All right, let's set the stage. To understand what happened this week, we need to go back to Sunday night, June 14th. Most people were winding down their weekend, maybe watching TV, getting ready for Monday. But in the world of geopolitics, something massive was unfolding. Pakistan's Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif made an announcement that shocked the world. A preliminary peace agreement between the United States and Iran had been reached. Now, I want you to understand why this was such a big deal. For months, tensions between the US and Iran had been escalating. Military operations were happening across multiple fronts, including Lebanon. The United States had implemented a naval blockade, and most importantly for markets, the Strait of Hormuz, this narrow waterway that connects the Persian Gulf to the Gulf of Oman, was effectively closed to commercial shipping. Let me give you some context on the Strait of Hormuz, because this is crucial to understanding what happened Monday. About 1/5 of the world's oil shipments pass through this strait. We're talking roughly 10 to 11 million barrels per day of crude oil. When that strait is threatened or closed, oil markets panic. When it reopens, oil markets celebrate. Keep that in mind. So Sunday night, President Trump confirmed the deal on social media. The agreement included some major points. First, an immediate halt to all military operations. Second, lifting of the U.S. naval blockade. Third, and this is the big one for oil markets, reopening of the Strait of Hormuz to commercial shipping. And fourth, a 60-day window for follow-on talks about Iran's nuclear program, with a formal signing scheduled for June 19th. Traders around the world saw this news Sunday night and immediately started thinking about what this means when markets open Monday morning. And I can tell you, group chats were going crazy. Trading desks were recalculating positions because everyone knew Monday was going to be wild. And wild it was. Let me walk you through Monday morning, June 15th, minute by minute, so you understand the magnitude of what happened. Even before the market officially opened at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, gold was already moving. Before 7 a.m., gold futures had climbed nearly 2%, reaching $4,317.70 per ounce. That's pre-market. People were so eager to position themselves that they couldn't even wait for the opening bell. When markets officially opened, it was like someone had flipped a switch across every major asset class. Let me give you the numbers, and I want you to really absorb these because they're remarkable. Spot gold surged 2.7% to $4,334.48 per ounce. That represented a near one-week high. Gold futures contracts for August delivery climbed even more, up 2.8% to $4,355.30. Silver went absolutely parabolic, and I use that word carefully because the move was sharp and dramatic. Silver jumped over 3% on the COMEX exchange, hitting $70.20 per ounce. Now here's some important context. The week before Monday, silver had been getting crushed. It was down, momentum was negative, sentiment was bearish. So this 3% surge represented a massive reversal of that trend. At least, that's what it looked like at the time. But the precious metals weren't the only story. Let's talk about oil, because this is where the peace deal had the most direct impact. Brent crude oil, which is one of the major global benchmarks, plummeted nearly 5% in a single session. It fell to approximately $83 per barrel, which was a 3-month low. Think about that. 5% in one day on a major commodity like oil is huge. Why did oil crash so hard? Well, markets were immediately pricing in two things. First, the physical return of oil supply. Iran has the capacity to produce roughly 1.5 to 2 million barrels per day that had been effectively shut out of global markets due to sanctions and the blockade. Traders knew that oil was coming back online, which means increased supply, which means lower prices. That's basic supply and demand. But there's a second factor that's more subtle. During times of geopolitical crisis, oil prices carry what we call a risk premium. Basically, traders add $10 to $15 per barrel just for the uncertainty and the potential for supply disruptions. When the peace deal was announced, that risk premium evaporated almost instantly. So you had both increased supply expectations and reduced risk premium hitting oil prices at the same time. That's why we saw that 5% drop. Now let's talk about stocks, because this is where it gets really interesting from an educational standpoint. The S&P 500 absolutely ripped higher on Monday. It surged 1.9% to record all-time highs. Technology stocks and consumer discretionary stocks led the gains. Everything was green. But here's the question you should be asking. Why would a peace deal and lower oil prices cause stocks to rally? Let me walk you through the logic chain because this is important for understanding how markets think. Lower oil prices mean lower energy costs for businesses. Lower energy costs mean better profit margins. Better profit margins mean higher stock valuations. That's the first connection. Second connection. Lower oil prices typically lead to lower inflation. When gas prices fall, when heating costs fall, when transportation costs fall, overall inflation in the economy tends to moderate. And when inflation moderates, the Federal Reserve has less pressure to raise interest rates. Lower interest rates are good for stock valuations because they make future earnings more valuable in today's dollars. Are you following this chain? Peace deal leads to lower oil. Lower oil leads to lower inflation expectations. Lower inflation expectations lead to lower rate hike probability, and lower rate hike probability supports higher stock prices. That's the narrative that drove Monday's market explosion. And on the surface, it makes perfect sense. It's logical, it's clean, and it's exactly what you heard on CNBC and Bloomberg all day Monday. Markets love peace. Peace means lower oil. Lower oil means lower inflation. Everyone wins. But here's where we get to the part they're not telling you on mainstream financial media. There was another metric that moved on Monday that barely got any coverage, but it actually explains the entire week better than the peace deal narrative. I'm talking about Federal Reserve rate hike expectations as measured by the CME FedWatch tool. Let me explain what this tool is for those who aren't familiar. The CME FedWatch tool analyzes federal funds futures contracts to calculate the probability that the Federal Reserve will raise or lower interest rates at their upcoming meetings. It's based on real money that traders are putting into the market, so it's not just opinions or predictions. It's actual probability based on market pricing. On Monday, June 15th, something remarkable happened to these probabilities. The implied probability of a December 2026 rate hike collapsed from near 90% down to almost 60% in a single session. Let me say that again because it's crucial. In one day, the market went from the Fed is almost definitely hiking rates in December to actually there's only a 60% chance. That's a 30 percentage point compression in rate expectations in one trading session. That is massive. And here's why it matters more than the peace deal itself. When interest rate expectations fall dramatically, several things happen simultaneously across financial markets. First, the US dollar weakens. Why? Because if US interest rates are going to be lower than previously expected, holding dollars becomes less attractive for international investors. They can get better returns elsewhere. So demand for dollars falls and the dollar weakens. Second, precious metals become more attractive. Gold and silver are non-yielding assets, meaning they don't pay interest or dividends. When interest rates are high, there's an opportunity cost to holding gold instead of, say, treasury bonds that pay you interest. But when rate expectations fall, that opportunity cost decreases, making gold and silver relatively more attractive. Third, stocks benefit because lower rates mean cheaper borrowing costs for companies and higher present values for future earnings. It's Finance 101. So here's what I want you to understand. Yes, the Iran peace deal happened. Yes, oil crashed. Yes, those things mattered. But the dramatic shift in Federal Reserve rate expectations is what actually powered the moves in gold, silver, and stocks on Monday. The peace deal was the catalyst, but the rate expectations were the mechanism. And here's how I know this interpretation is correct. Look at what happened the rest of the week. If the peace deal was the primary driver, and peace is good for markets, then markets should have continued higher all week, right? Peace didn't suddenly disappear on Tuesday or Wednesday. The deal was still in place. The Strait of Hormuz was still reopening. Oil stayed low. So why didn't markets keep rallying? Because on Wednesday and Thursday, June 17th and 18th, the Federal Reserve held their scheduled policy meeting, and the message they sent completely contradicted what markets had priced in on Monday. The Fed left interest rates unchanged, which was expected, but the tone of their statement and the updated dot plot projections were decidedly hawkish. Let me break down what hawkish means for those newer to market terminology. When we say a central bank is hawkish, we mean they're more concerned about inflation and more inclined to raise interest rates to combat it. The opposite is dovish, which means they're more concerned about economic growth and more inclined to keep rates low or cut them. Think of a hawk as aggressive, a dove as gentle. That's an easy way to remember it. So the Fed came out hawkish. Specifically, 9 of the 19 Federal Reserve policymakers indicated in their projections that they expect at least one rate hike later in 2026. Markets immediately started repricing. That 60% probability for a December rate hike, by Friday, it had climbed back up to roughly 70%. Not quite back to the 90% from before Monday, but definitely moving in that direction. And what happened to asset prices as these rate expectations shifted back? The US dollar surged to a one-year high. Gold started falling. Silver started falling. The stock market's momentum stalled. Everything that had exploded Monday started reversing. By Friday's close, June 19th, here's where we stood. Silver had fallen to $64.90 per ounce, down 1.15% just on Friday, and down 4.5% for the entire week. That means silver gave back its entire Monday gain and then some. Gold closed at $4,151.74, down 1.38% on Friday, marking its third consecutive weekly decline. Let that sink in. Monday's explosion had completely reversed by Friday. Not because the peace deal fell apart, not because oil spiked back up, but because the Federal Reserve reminded markets who's really in charge. There's another data point I want to share that reinforces this narrative. On Friday, Goldman Sachs, one of the most influential investment banks in the world, cut their year-end gold price forecast from $5,400 down to $4,900 per ounce. Why would they do that after a peace deal that supposedly should be good for markets? Because they're focused on the Fed, not on geopolitics. So what's the key educational lesson from this week? And this is what I really want you to take away from this video. Geopolitical events create short-term volatility and opportunity, but monetary policy drives long-term trends. Monday was a geopolitical catalyst. The rest of the week was monetary policy reality reasserting itself. If you only watched Monday's news, you learned that peace deals move markets. True, but incomplete. If you watch the entire week, you learn that central banks matter more than headlines. That's the real lesson. That's the education you won't get from a 3-minute CNBC segment. Now let's talk about what comes next, because understanding the past only matters if it helps you prepare for the future. We have 2 major timelines running simultaneously right now that you need to be aware of. First timeline, the 60-day window for Iran nuclear talks. The peace deal signed on June 19th included a provision for 60 days of negotiations about Iran's nuclear program. That means by mid-August, we'll have another major catalyst. Either those talks succeed, which could lead to a more permanent peace agreement, further normalization of oil markets, and potentially more downward pressure on inflation. Or those talks fail, which could reignite geopolitical tensions, spike oil prices back up, and bring back that $10 to $15 risk premium we talked about earlier. Second timeline, the Federal Reserve's next policy meeting in September. Based on current market pricing, there's approximately a 70% probability of a rate hike at that meeting. Between now and then, we'll get critical economic data, purchasing manager indices, GDP reports, consumer price index inflation data. All of that will factor into the Fed's decision. Here's where it gets really interesting. These 2 timelines could potentially collide or interact in unexpected ways. Imagine if the Iran nuclear talks break down in August, oil spikes, inflation data comes in hot in early September, and the Fed feels compelled to hike rates more aggressively than markets expect. That would be a very different scenario than if talks succeed, oil stays low, inflation moderates, and the Fed holds steady. This is why educated investors don't just react to headlines. They build scenarios. They think probabilistically. They prepare for multiple outcomes instead of betting everything on one narrative. Let me give you some practical guidance on what to actually watch over the next 60 days. First, track the CME FedWatch tool yourself. You can find it with a simple Google search. Check it once a week and see how rate hike probabilities are shifting. If you see a 10 or 15-point move in one direction, that's significant and usually precedes market moves. Second, watch oil prices. Specifically, watch whether Brent crude can hold around that $83 level or if it starts creeping back up. If oil gets back above $90, inflation concerns return. If it falls below $80, The disinflationary narrative strengthens. Third, pay attention to upcoming economic data releases. The next big ones are PMI data and GDP data coming this week. Then we'll get CPI inflation data in early July. These reports will shape Fed expectations more than any headline about Iran. Fourth, keep an eye on the US dollar index. If the dollar continues strengthening from here, that creates headwinds for precious metals and emerging markets. If the dollar weakens, that's generally supportive for gold and silver. And fifth, watch for any updates or news about the Iran nuclear talks. You don't need to follow it day to day, but major developments will matter. Now I want to address something important. Some of you might be thinking, okay, John, this is all great educational content, but what should I actually do with my money? And I need to be very clear here. I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing in this video is personalized investment advice for your specific situation. This is educational content designed to teach you how to think about markets, not tell you what to do. What I can tell you is this. The next 60 days are going to be critical for determining the direction of precious metals, oil, and potentially stock markets for the rest of 2026. We have clear catalysts ahead. We have clear timelines. We have data points to monitor. Educated investors use this kind of framework to make informed decisions based on their own risk tolerance, time horizon, and financial goals. Before we wrap up, I want to revisit one more educational concept that this week illustrated perfectly. It's the difference between narrative and mechanism. The narrative Monday was, peace deal causes market rally. That's what makes sense to most people. It's intuitive. Peace is good, therefore markets go up. But the mechanism, the actual gears and levers that moved prices, was the shift in Fed rate expectations, triggered by lower inflation expectations, triggered by lower oil prices, triggered by the peace deal. Understanding mechanism instead of just narrative is what separates amateur market watchers from professional analysts. Amateurs see peace deal equals stocks up. Professionals see peace deal leads to oil down, leads to inflation expectations down, leads to rate expectations down, leads to dollar down, leads to stocks and metals up. You see the difference? One is a simple cause and effect. The other is a chain of causation that you can actually track and measure. And when you understand the mechanism, you can predict what happens when one link in that chain breaks. Like what happened when the Fed came out hawkish midweek. The peace deal didn't change, but one link in the mechanism broke, and the whole trade reversed. This is what we teach here at FinShift, with OG John AG Official. We go deeper than headlines. We understand mechanisms. We think in systems and probabilities. And over time, that educational foundation gives you a massive advantage in understanding how markets really work. All right, we've covered a lot of ground today. Let's recap the key educational points. Monday, June 15th, saw a massive cross-asset market explosion triggered by the Iran peace deal announcement. Gold surged 2.7%, silver jumped 3%, stocks hit record highs, and oil crashed 5%. But the hidden driver was a 30-point collapse in December Fed rate hike probability from 90% to 60%. By Friday, June 19th, almost all of those gains had reversed because the Federal Reserve meeting on Wednesday and Thursday struck a hawkish tone, pushing rate hike probabilities back up to 70%. The lesson: geopolitics creates volatility, but central bank policy drives trends. Looking ahead, we have a 60-day timeline for Iran nuclear talks and a September Fed meeting with a probable rate hike on the table. How these two timelines interact will determine market direction for the second half of 2026. Monitor the CME FedWatch tool, oil prices, economic data, the dollar, and Iran talk progress to stay educated on what's coming. If this deep dive helped you understand what really happened this week, I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit that like button. It helps other people find this educational content. And if you're not already subscribed to FinShift with OG John AG Official, click that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss.
All right. Okay, so let's take it all in. Let's take it all in.
Let's take it in piece by piece.
I'm loving it.
Can't give it all in one time.
OG John Official. That's what's up. Now that's actually, I want to just share with you, that's the official site for the actual creator of that content. You've got a lot of duplicates that come in and they recreate different scenarios from different, or I should say different informationals off that information with different focuses.
Right.
what he talked about are some areas that I think our community, the general community, doesn't tend to take into consideration. We don't follow markets, right? Who follows markets? Anybody? Are y'all following the market that deep? Do you know how to use those tools? Yeah.
Other than the big name people, y'all may know the few big names that you hear like Schiff and Lehman or Forbes say something, you'll open up your ear. But the market forecast is for you to actually hear what's going on a day-to-day basis.
So what I got from this was the need and necessity um for our mental wellness in this area, for us to expand our connection to our finances, allowing us for new opportunities. What I saw was a possible 60 to 90-day setup. Anybody else get that? That was a 60 to 90-day setup if you're paying attention. While checking and scanning the market the whole time.
Yes.
But you're gonna have to know what you need, what you're doing with it. And that's what we're trying to get to. We've got to come together and start looking at information as a group of people, as the community. Because we're not paying attention and it's all affecting us. Remember we talked about your holiday weekend? Your holiday weekend was a distraction. It always is.
And it's amazing how they had all the Juneteenth event, the Father's Day event, all these big festivals, and they were still in session making moves.
They are still in session. So while you may be being introduced to politicians through different, we also have the elections, by the way, those who, like I tell you, if you're going to play the game powerfully. Everybody's not on the same on the same chessboard here. I need us to remember that. We're not all playing the game, but if you're choosing to be in this portion, like I tell you, if you're going to be in the matrix, you might as well do well. Y'all get that?
Makes a lot of sense.
If you know you plugged in the matrix and you're choosing the matrix, you're going to choose the red pill. Okay? Y'all should say choose the blue pill. That's the blue pill. If you're going to choose the blue pill, then make sure that you're doing it powerfully. Mm-hmm. Because there are still things that you can do to control how the flow goes for you. Information is abundant, but how you use it has changed. We no longer have the problem where things are being held from us.
No, we have switch access to it.
You know what I'm saying? No. We don't have to cower in the dark and learn and hope that we can come up in the next generation. Your generation right now is literally holding the source that people before you died to be able to get to. You all can read. That's mandatory. Practically on the entire planet.
Yes, indeed.
Now, my question is with that opportunity, what are you all doing with it? How are you using it? How is it benefiting you? That's what the wealthy did. They taught their children in conversations like this in the mornings at the table, dinner table conversations. They talk about money. They talk about markets. They talk about building. They talk about getting to the next. How do we take what we have and we multiply it as a group conglomerate together? What you think are enemies are actually new partnerships joining. Companies that you think that are actually enemies, they're just waiting upon partnership opportunities. Y'all get that?
Well, let me tell you, it's funny.
Ain't it interesting?
It is. It's funny that you said it because there was an acquisition that just happened over the week, midweek Wednesday.
Mr. Thomas, people can't hear you.
I'm sorry, there was an acquisition that happened over the weekend. Some of you guys who are familiar with going to the movie, then you go to a place called Showcase Cinema. They were just acquired by a Canadian-based company, and then they said they're not changing the name because they like the brand, the way it's done. But now you have new owners making new plans and new positions who are changing the way things are going to run.
Okay.
On the outside. So understand me. You can have acquisitions happening on a regular basis, and they keep the name that you're familiar with because it's comfortable to you.
Yeah.
And they can change the internal workings. So this is what we're talking about, actually. Every time you see a movement or a transition in the market, you may hear this big, like you said, the big geopolitical event where the peace treaty was signed and there's a 60-day window for conversation. Right. That was what do you call that? a spark. Let's call it a spark. And then the machine went back to playing the game the way it's played.
Yeah.
They adjusted the numbers. They didn't change inflation numbers. They didn't go up. They didn't go down. They said, okay, we're gonna solidify the market and what we know, and then we're gonna wait 60 days before we make the next move.
See, one of the things that I like about what OG said,
OG,
OG
okay.
John. Okay, look, straight up, this information, and you guys know that that's all AI. Is AI done? But that's actually a report that's created by a very real person. And there are people who have been doing this. Look, Robert Kiyosaki. Let's see, how many people are doing stuff like this? We got so many folks and programs that run update information for our community. My question is where are you, community? Where are you in the game? Do you know the position that you play or being played over you?
What are you listening to?
Goals here in P2G is to get us to class, to be able to have this conversation and explore resolutions for ourselves. Some of them will be done in a formal class. Some of them will be done in a community conversation that we have every week.
Yep.
And Mr. Thomas, you ain't helping me out, brother. I just realized you're in here. So
yeah, I know.
Your content's not here.
So yeah, we got Mar Allen in the building. Grand Rising.
Hi,
brother.
baby.
Good to see you. Good to see you in the space. We got Robert. We have Renvo. We have people on Clapper. We have people on.
Yeah, we got a lot of cool people out here. Miss Faye out in Cali. We got Brother Chris. Brother Chris is going to be more. That's what's up. We got Miss Lady out in. We have our friend Divine Life here. She's doing her thing, and she's from Connecticut. Look, I got folks coming in from everywhere. Why? Because this is not just a us problem, y'all. It's not just a us concern. We are not, it's not even about your skin tone. It's about how you're how you are pushing yourself into being in control of your life. What do you have control over? How much of the information are you able to access? And how can you build? How can we build together and become one solid community? Because that's the fact. If you out here by yourself, you know how many people out here. I got a lot of folks, friends that do what I do when it comes to financial literacy, when it comes to digital financial literacy into itself. They do a lot of the same stuff. But one of the things that most of them haven't figured out is that we all have the same goal. And it is time for us to start coming together, to being useful for one another. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put up the masterclass. We have a fundraiser, and I'm telling you right now, if our youth don't get this education, if our kids don't get this, don't plan on your present being any good. So we had to modify the platform a little bit because of the timing. We now have a day class instead of a late night class on Saturday. The coming Saturday, which is June 27th, is a masterclass and a fundraiser. The funds from the masterclass will be donated to a summer camp, a summer boot camp for our young people. It'll be for ages 12 to 18 to learn about digital financial literacy, budgeting, finance in the blockchain, which is exciting, and game economy. I'm really excited because they'll learn how to earn money even while building in the blockchain. Then they'll also be able to learn about entrepreneurism and digital entrepreneurialism using amazing tools. Good part is that we can't do it without you all. If you would like to start to really learn how to do business with crypto, come off that dollar dependency altogether and start to be able to get a new clientele. Because whether you want to believe it or not, there's a lot more people out here that got crypto will do business directly with you than that have cash in their pocket because they don't trust the dollar. Crazy, right?
Not really. I just think
what does that do for businesses? It's going to take our entrepreneurs. Look, this ain't just for businesses. I'm not just looking for brick and mortars. If you sell products, if you sell goods, if you have services, look, I just bought some books from we wrote a book together with me and my podcast babes, and my books are for sale, but those are for sale for crypto. When we put it up there, we making sure you understand we eat our pudding. We're not going to teach you something we don't do. So yes, I accept crypto for class fees. Yes, for class fees and memberships. Yes, we accept crypto. We accept your coin. But do you know how to accept crypto? Do you know how to have your own a good solid transfer that comes with very very little transactions? So that's what we're going to teach you. And no third party to hold your money till they get paid.
Exactly.
Come on, somebody. That's what's going down. How about if you got crypto, would you rather use your crypto than the cash? Because some places don't take crypto. You know what I'm saying? They want cash. Some of y'all want to learn how to build on it, right? So we're going to teach you how to safely accept cryptocurrency. We're going to teach you marketing strategies for finding new customers in that space. Then we're going to also teach you about top 5 coins to accept in your businesses and why. So that you don't have to worry about volatility. Because when I first talked about these business, oh, I can't do that. The price, them prices go down. Y'all should have heard all the opposition. My question is if you had some skills, would you lose your money?
And that's the thing. Skills are the part that everyone thinks. Well, let me not say that because that's unfair.
Can't say everyone.
There are people who believe if they take time to educate, they'll lose time in their business. And that is actually the opposite. When you take time to educate, you increase the likelihood that your business stays in business longer.
And not only that, you have to advance the tools in order to advance your opportunity in business. It is crucial that you do. And in this case, we love this because we're going to showing you a great way to create not only get crypto, but we want you to earn it. And so we partnered with a couple of other programs. I don't understand why this particular flyer is still here. Let me remove that. Opportunity.
Yeah, let's get rid of that one.
I love it. I love it. We had to actually have an update. Forgive me, we didn't get to load it. Unfortunately, when you see us in here the way we're in here, that's only because one of our systems dropped. So we got to kind of pull it all in together. That's right. It's okay. But we're going to make sure you get the right information, the right slides and everything. So if you guys want to come and find out what's going down in a live space, now this is what I like. Here we go. There we go. Now this is the one I wanted you to see because this is about not just Solarium Life. Solarium Life is an amazing program that we're promoting that helps people to earn Bitcoin and promote your business. Miss Ruby, I don't have a business. Yes, you do. I told you, you are your business. And if you ain't your business, somebody is working you. Mm-hmm. Can I say that again?
Mm-hmm.
You are your business. And if you are not your business, then somebody else is working you. It is now time for our community to start stepping up and recognizing that we were merchants before we were employees. We were apprentices for mercantiles before we were employees. And while your 9 to 5 is cool and it provides all these other extras, it ain't for life. No, you can't go to work. Those things don't keep going. But what can you create that'll keep building even when you can't work? That's what we bring into the table. So come and join us. Come get some information. We want you to check out this platform that we've been a part of. I want y'all guys to check this out because for yourself, you need to know how to create some things. So I want you guys to check this out. Check out earnbtc.info. Go ahead, look it up. You understand where I'm coming from? I want you to look that up. Take that website and now go take a look and see what it's offering. Now y'all go, Miss Ruby, I don't do that. I don't recruit. We're not recruiting. I'm not telling you to recruit. That's not what I'm telling you. You got a business, it's time to do business. There's a product line. And when you do good business, you pass that on anyway, so you're going to get paid in Bitcoin when you do it effectively. Guys, let me tell you something right now. I don't run Amazon. I don't sell books. But you darn sure right. When I tell somebody something I bought on Amazon, I'm going to get paid. I'm not giving them Amazon's address. I'm giving them my affiliate number because I now get paid to talk about Amazon products, things I got from a third-party business. That is your business. That's what you want to do with your life. You want to turn every word you say into an opportunity to build value. And these companies, these major companies, have offered us that opportunity through what's called referral.
Yep.
That is not recruiting. It is actually getting paid marketing dollars that somebody else would have got paid. And so I don't mind. I'll be your marketer. I talk good stuff about great products. When I like something, I tell everybody.
You tell people about movies, restaurants, your girlfriend, your boyfriend. You talk a lot about everything.
I don't have boyfriends and girlfriends.
You're okay. And so,
girlfriends. What's up with this dude?
I'm not messing with her.
Mr. Tom, y'all see how we doing this on Monday? It's supposed to be Mental Wellness Monday. You creating crazy.
I want y'all to realize we've been together 30 years, so I expect some of this from her. I want you to know.
Look, bottom line, let me explain something to y'all, family. If we ain't in this too, if we're not building this ourselves, it's not going to be built for you. I'm excited because what we're building is massive and beautiful. We have a wonderful community. And by the way, got to put a big shout out. Let me just explain. Go to this link right now if you want to be connected to us. We are no longer going to be functioning as a community on Facebook. Unfortunately, for the last time, Facebook has gotten its right to prove that it has control over everything. One of the things I'm not doing, I'm not bad mouthing it. I will not bad mouth Facebook. But Facebook is not where you want to do your business because you don't own that platform. So when they say you can't communicate with people, they mean it. And so because my husband and I have chosen not to give them government identifiable information to store on their servers, which are not safe.
Please.
Okay, they have shut down our ability to communicate. We can go on to certain things. I can see all of your perfect, your beautiful posts.
Yeah,
I can see you. But to do business with me and communicate with me, you should be on our WhatsApp group. Please reach out to the P2G Network's website, and you can either use the bot or you can use the contact us information and make a request to join us on our WhatsApp temporary site, because once the website opens, we are no longer going to be giving away third-party information to another platform. And we do not have that requirement. No one on the P2G networks has a requirement to divulge personalized information other than contact and authentication, and that is it. Not your ID, not your birth certificate, not your social, darn sure not your passport or your ID from the government.
None of that stuff.
Okay, those things are private to you. And the reason why we promote blockchain is because blockchain makes that not necessary anymore.
Absolutely.
So those antiquated sites are going to grab all your information. I don't know how many of y'all are cool with Facebook having your ID in it, but I don't feel cool enough to put my ID in it.
One thing you guys got to realize, Facebook is already scraping your data no matter what they do. They have most of your pictures. They have most of the places you've gone on vacation. They already have your
movements,
access. They have your
pictures,
access.
Yep, family connections, conversations.
There's no need for them to really have
your ID, your official ID with the government.
They already have it all.
I don't know about you, but I've had enough notifications of access breaches to data that I know that. And by the way, when you update or you continue to use them, you've agreed to hold them harmless for your information being lost. Did you know that? Yeah. So on that note, we're gonna leave them.
They get to say I'm sorry and keep moving.
That's it. And so while you can face complete damages, you don't have anyone to hold accountable. So let me explain. Come join us. New information can save your life and your future. Getting new information around not just the economy, but the digital side of not just the economy, but the world changes everything for you today. I'm really excited because we've got some great classes that are coming as well. So that master class for how to utilize crypto in your business and start to build it is one. But we actually have a 12-week education program which we have put together. We're excited. We are excited. It will begin in it'll have to begin it in August. Okay. What we have to do is fill a class. If I don't fill a class, then we can't start. But our education program, our digital education program, is going to resume in July. So you can do it on your own. But if you would like to be a part of the live 12-week class, you're welcome to do so as well. Get in touch with us at p2gnetworks.com. We are not joking when we tell you this world has changed and we've been preparing for some time.
Yes, indeed.
Don't worry, what we got, you'll have. Our current classes that are running are also run on Sundays. Our Sunday class begins. Some of y'all are, look, I got to give y'all updates because some of y'all are so used to coming to Sunday nights. Sunday nights are going to be held on Saturday because we have the new Sunday classes. It's called our fast track class. Our fast track investment classes so that you can begin starting not only to learn how to manage your wallets, but build them up, move in investments. These are all live classes in investment. This is not we're going to tell you what's possible. That is why we have the 12-week build up program. That is a foundational program. If you want to come in and fast track because you got some skills already and it's time to make that money, get that money out of lazy mode, you need to get to our No Lazy Money live course, which is on Sunday. Make sense?
5 o'clock to 7 o'clock.
All right. 5 to 7 every Sunday. And I don't know how many of y'all out here really want to, understand what's going on, but are you tired of being in the dark? Are you tired of wondering why things are going the way they're going?
Are you tired?
Why you're struggling and you're working harder than ever? Who's working harder than ever and struggling more?
A lot of people. People are doing 16-hour days and they're spending more money while they're at work, cutting into the goal they're trying to create.
Absolutely.
One of the things this math class was created, people got. I want to say this correctly. There are people who got excited and bought crypto, and they're holding it in a wallet, and they don't have a clue what to do with it.
And that be the problem.
Come find out what to do with it. Come learn how to make a decision around what you want to create, and stop the lazy money problem that you're seeing inside your wallet. Because your dollars, if they're sitting in your wallet, aren't doing anything. Don't let it happen.
And no, it is doing something. What did we just talk about? What's happening in the dollar?
It's going down.
Yeah.
It's going down.
That ain't even cute. Don't even know that. Y'all hear how he be talking about this? Look, but it's the truth. We're not making anything up. One of the things we want you guys to be is aware and in action. Knowing that there's a problem but doing nothing about it doesn't that doesn't actually count for anything. You're wasting time where time does not have to waste. So one of those classes that we wanted to show you is here. Ta-da! So 5:10 we began the promotion for this. This is 5 to 7 every Sunday. Go to the website P2G Networks and get your seat. Join us for our Sunday 5 to 7 p.m. We're going to be dollar cost averaging. We're going to be up here liquidity pools. We're funding the markets. How about your money be in funding the markets and then learning how to farm that? Oh, but then we have the beautiful part where you guys probably think it's a joke. Now you can get loans without credit.
Yes, indeed.
Ain't that something? I've been teaching people how to triple and double their money I'm serious, triple and double their money while building assets the whole time. My question is where does your money sit and is it working for you? Is anything building? And for those who happen to be in my communities we can't do interest, we get block rewards. We don't get interest. I get paid income for my money use. There is a difference between interest and actual putting your money to use for you. Because I'm dealing with assets, I'm not dealing with dollars.
Absolutely.
Y'all get it yet? I'm dealing with assets. I'm not dealing with dollars. I get paid for activity taking place. So when there's fees, y'all know how the bank get paid for fees? Well, so do I. I like that. I decided I wanted to be the bank. So with that, let's join it. Anybody got any systems for this? Come find out what we have been up to. See, because this is not rocket science. This is not something you can't learn on the internet. But what we do is we bring it together in a way that makes it make sense.
You know, I like TV shows, and you know, one of the things that I've heard years ago, and it's not hocus pocus, it's focus focus. Get with the program, girl.
I say that all the time. You trying to quote me, Mr. Times. You trying to get on my good side after that boyfriends and girlfriends thing, y'all see. Acting up over here.
You know, I got one girlfriend, and I'm
Uh-huh.
with her for the last 30 plus years, and very excited about
Keep
it.
messing around. It may not last that long.
Well, we get one on TV, we can't do that much now. But I got you guys. Let me tell you, one of the things when you're making money and you're doing stuff that's fun, you find time to make light about certain things. But when you're struggling and you're hungry, it's kind of hard to be in a position to find the light at the other side. I
You're
think
not alone, is
you're
what
not
we're
alone.
really saying. You never were. We've got to learn to build our mindset. So we've got to start learning to read new books, converse in new ways, use the internet in a different way. Use your phone to build your mind. If you don't know how to do that, reach out. We're constantly in the process of sharing our sources for development because what you develop yourself, first of all, personal development is going to change the direction of everything. I want to say shout out to Miss Faye who reminded me that I'm an attractor. I'm constantly magnetizing myself by building up. And when that magnetize myself, I magnify myself, I
Ooh,
begin to attract others like me. So when I look around, I look to see who's surrounding me, and it tells me what I'm creating. It doesn't tell me about them because I don't get to judge them. It
no,
tells me
we
more
don't.
about me, who I'm being. And it's amazing when you start to really develop yourself, who you'll attract. And I'm not the know it all, believe it or not. I'm big time learning all the time. And I suggest this for every person. You should be a lifelong learner till the day you're in the grave.
It's funny, I didn't realize that until actually we started doing this program. Because
Man,
every time you turn around, it engages your mind to go see the next thing. Shout out to the New York City Fire Department. You know, we're right next door to them, and they
it's like,
always
where's Shelby?
ah.
That's our neighbors. They're probably just coming in from work. Thank you. And there's shout out to the FDNY, the people who will take care of us and keep us safe. They were
It's
just in
I
our
mean,
building. We had a fire, y'all, but in another part of the building, we're safe. But the fact that they're that close makes me always feel so much better.
one of the things you guys just take a moment. I want you guys today take a moment, figure out what you want, and then when do you want to get it.
Put a date on it and please put a number on it. In our sessions, in our coaching sessions, which come with our P2G platforms, everyone, all my classes, all my programs come with coaching sessions. We've got to figure out the first part. That's why this is Mental Wellness Monday. Because if you don't know what you want in life, you're just spinning your wheels. You're just trying to get what you can get. And that can be so small compared to what you could be acquiring for yourself. Now, some of y'all have a picture drawn of yourselves that is way smaller than you really are. You believe things about yourself. Some of you say things, but then you contradict in the actions. If that is happening, who is helping you who's spotting you in this workout for life?
Oh, that's cool. I like that. Is awesome.
You know what I'm saying? Who's stopping you from thinking you're smaller than you really are? And when are you ready? Are you ready to take on a bigger network than you have? So come and join us. Y'all got the website. P2G Networks is available.
Time to get out the boxes.
Yeah, we don't play living small, thinking small, being small.
You know,
There's no small anything. And with that, we got to get ready, baby. Because like we said, ain't nothing small around here and we keep it moving. All right. I love you guys. You know that we got your back, but
yeah,
you got to get your back.
get out these boxes.
And I'm going to do what I
Talk to
was told.
people.
We would like for you to like, comment, and subscribe and get notified. because this platform on P2G Networks TV on YouTube gives you a notification and you can join us anytime. Hey, that's New York trying to kick in. I don't care. But coming into these last minutes, we want you guys to take some responsibility, commit to the process, become part of the communities, and step up because that's your position.
Our next goal.
That's where you're supposed to be.
Our next goal is having sponsors on this show come out on a regular basis. So you'll be seeing commercials come up and sponsorships come up
because we got new partners. You guys, we got partners.
Will we advertising your businesses?
Yes,
it'll be a beautiful thing.
So if you'd like to be on our Work It Out Wednesday, we got a new cut. We have a heck of a guy coming out on Work It Out Wednesday. We sure hope you guys will come and visit and see him. You'll see his picture. You guys have seen his picture. Run the replay and do what you got to do. We see you on Wednesday.
Yes, indeed.
Peace. Mwah.
We're out of here.
Ooh, see ya. Wake up and rise up in your eyes. It's breakfast with the Thomases, the ultimate prize. Mental Wellness Monday, Work It Out Wednesday, Pay It Forward Friday, we're seizing the day. Digital finance, harmony of love, serving food for what those soul, rising every day, Eastern on P2G TV. Breakfast with the Thomases.